Hello, hello. It is the one and only 5D Attraction Pyramidian Coaching. We're here. And this video is a very, very dope video, very important video for you to understand when it comes to dating relationships and attraction. Um, so I call this the blueprint to attraction. And the reason why I say that is because these are 5 things that you need to understand that will elevate you as you move through the game. You know what I mean? Whatever your goals are for what you want to attain out of the game. So, number one, let's just get straight to it. Number one, you got to understand that there is a game. Okay. I think a lot of people view attraction. They say, I don't want games. I don't want this. I don't want that. Um, and honestly, if someone's approaching you and coming at you saying, like, I ain't trying to play no games, like, I'm totally focused and serious, um, I would want to look behind that because sometimes that person might be running game just even saying that. You know what I mean? Game essentially is two people fighting for position, two parties fighting for control. That's yin yang energy. The nature of life is a game, right? So when we talk about the game of life and attraction, particularly when we talk about the game of attraction, dating, and relationships, it's understanding the masculine and feminine energy more. And so what you got to understand is you got to know there is a game going on. Because if you don't know that, that's where you fall into a space where you're not working on your physique, you're not dressing well, you're not caring. Like most of the people that are at your fours and below, like based on this attractiveness scale, which we're using as just a reference, let's say people who are generally in the four or below are generally people who they're not in the game. Like I think the game really begins for men at five and above, and I think for women it just can vary. At 3, 4 and above, I'd probably say 4 and above, but it really begins at 5 and above is where everyone is really playing very aggressively in that game. And the ones that are the outliers are generally the people who just don't care about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's super dope people who don't care. There's people who've opted to get out of the dating game, which I, definitely understand. I think everybody should do what they want to do, but you got to understand that whatever level you're at, there is a game going on. And the second thing, let's move to the second thing, is you got to understand the landscape. You know what I mean? So there's a game being played now. What are the chess pieces? Who's involved in the game of attraction and dating? It's men and women. So you got to understand that's the law of gender. I reference from as one of the universal laws, but understand how masculine and feminine energy works together. And in this case, we hone in an aspect of attraction, and those type of things that lead to love or that can lead to heartbreak. You know what I mean? So that's the second thing. And this is kind of laid out. The landscape is essentially you have the people that you have the men, the women, there's different characters in the game. So that's why it's important as well to go out to start being observant of what's going on. Who are the people that tend to attract the most? What's the dynamics that's going on? And that's why I even have this attractiveness skill here is just a reference of the landscape. According to this, when we talk about the attraction levels and the people out there, this is generally what you're looking at, according to whoever made this. And obviously, this is kind of like a funny thing, but I think there's always a lot of truth and humor. And so, based on this scale, and everyone's scale is individual to them, but you can look and say, okay, and this is where we get to the third thing. So, you want to understand the landscape, which is who you're competing with, right? Who are the people? Oh, okay. So there's people that are 9s and 10s, right? There's people who are at the bottom, So then we get to number 3, and then you go, what's my level? So number 3 is know your level in this scale. You know what I mean? Where are you in this scale? Some people might have a low self-image. So, you might be a very beautiful person who views yourself as not worthy. If that's the case, then that's okay, because I think it's more than just the physical, it's also the internal. You want to make sure to develop both. And if you feel like you're a 6 internally, then you want to do whatever it's going to take to help you feel more confident and improve. You know what I mean? And then, so this isn't just about looks, but in this case, attraction is generally a very quick thing. As I like to say, attraction isn't a choice. It's somebody's either attracted to you or they're not. So with that being said, your attraction is one of those things that you want to know your level, because based on your level, It will determine who you decide to approach and go at. It determines how you're able to view, the game. Because here's the thing, you're going to have the people who you can view at your level, and then you have people who you could view below your level, and you have people who could view above your level in terms of options that you find is optimal. Um, and so, if you know your level, then it will help you understand, all right, what do I need to do? Let's say I do want somebody that I see in a higher position, or somebody that I see as the apple of my eye. You know, what is the value that I need to bring in order to really be the best version of myself to get that person, right? And so that's why you got to know your level, because also if you don't know your level, it can really hurt yourself as well. You can be somebody that's a very attractive person, but you view yourself as ugly and not worthy, and so you put yourself in, relationship dynamics that aren't good for you because of a lack of self-image. And so that's another thing, and then it can be reversed. It can be somebody that thinks, oh man, why doesn't anybody like me? These girls are so stupid. They're so mean. They're so awful. And oh, these guys suck. These guys show no interest. But then they don't reflect on themselves and realize, like, you might smell funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might, look crazy. You might dress crazy. You might have bad breath. You might act a certain. And I don't want to say this to make people insecure, but it's the reality. Like, I think what a quality we got to give credit to for attractive people is that they can be more self-aware, but also they're a little bit more tapped into the environment of how they affect people. And they take the steps that those unattractive people don't in a lot of cases to beautify themselves, and they get rewarded for that. Because are you going to eat an apple if it's worms coming out of it and it's bruised and it has all this brown on it? Probably not. But are you going to eat an apple if it looks perfectly ready and it's bright red or bright green and it looks super healthy? Like, heck yeah. So that's all you're doing with attractiveness. You're trying to look as much like a fresh, tasty, healthy fruit as you can, and trying not to look like a spoiled, decaying fruit. As human beings, we like to move toward survival. So that's what you want to demonstrate. You know what I mean? And then so let's move to the fourth one. Once you know your level, you got to know your goal. All right, and just to bring it back. So number one, understand that there is a game going on. Most people don't understand that. Number two, understand the landscape, the players, the levels. Number three, know your level. Where do you stand in this game, in this landscape? Then number four, what do you want? What's your goal? What do you want to gain out of this environment? What are you trying to get? Do you want marriage? Do you want just to be with attractive people? Do you want to improve and attract better partners, better options? Do you want to just be on your own? You know what I mean? Do you want to just be free? Do you want to, be in any dynamic, right? But you got to understand what you want, because based on that, you'll be able to get to number five, which is you have to understand your value proposition. And then there's another part to this. All right, what do you want? Value proposition just means what are you going to do to get what you want? But I preface that by saying before you even get there, it's all about honesty. So you want to make sure that you can bring your best self to the table as you are. Number one, who am I? What's my value? It's not about saying a value proposition of, oh, what can I, do to validate myself for this person. It's not that. What it's really saying is, let me get a better understanding of what I bring to the table so that I can have more self-love and self-appreciation for the qualities that I can give, and so that I can better communicate that to the people that I desire. And then you're just helping yourself and the other person. You're learning more about yourself. You're understanding what you bring to the table. And then you're helping, the other person understand, oh, this is actually a dope person that I need to get with. A lot of the time, there are people who would be great mates for somebody, but because they don't present it the right way, and they don't come off as attractive, they can't get with that person. And then that person goes on to be with an a-hole or somebody that's not good for them. So I think it's important for good people to focus on being more attractive so that they can, have their way in the game. You know what I mean? I think, you live this life, you want to have the best experience you can. So, why not utilize science and, continue to level up to gain what you want. All right. So with that being said, I think honesty is so powerful, and I'm going to do the next video coming up soon on that. But what honesty does is it shows that you're not ashamed. It shows that you already embrace your level. So it makes it that much easier for the next person to embrace your level. And by trying to hide things, it just lowers your value. So why even work against yourself, right? I think by being honest and um, authentic, I think there's a lot of power in that. And I'm also going to touch on that in the next video coming up. That's very big, so look out for that. But um, the main key is understanding that the value that you're really looking to give isn't this value of, oh, money and I'm buying this to do this. No, no, no. The value is I am providing myself and I'm sharing those qualities, you know what I mean? And maximizing on what I already bring to the table, helping you understand so you realize, hey, look, you were the winner. You know what I mean? And so there's so much creativity with that. And I'm gonna talk about that, in this next one. But that's the main thing. So the blueprint, you got to understand that there's a game, understand the landscape, use this attractiveness scale as a way to see where you're at, figure out your level, understand what you want. Do you want that 8, 9, 10, whatever it is you want? And then understand the qualities you bring to boost up where you might be on this scale. And by doing that, you're building an arsenal now of value to go out there in the game and win and to attract what you want. So with that being said, I will see you all in the next video. Make sure to like, subscribe, continue to grow the channel, and make sure to check out the um, program that I got, Base Attraction and Dating Course, extremely powerful course. It's on my Patreon. You can get on there now. Link is in the bio. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.